It's Brooke from the Vintage Gardener. Welcome back to my channel. Before we start, subscribe to my channel, please, and don't forget to hit that notification bell so you get alerted every time I post a video, because I'm probably going to be posting a little bit more frequently in the coming months, I hope, at any rate. So I thought I'd tell you guys what I'm going to be doing today, but I want to tell you guys inside because once I get out in my front yard, you're going to hear a lot of cars and it's probably going to be difficult to hear what I'm saying. So I know I mentioned in another video that I'm going to go ahead and have the water spigots put in my front yard this year rather than waiting till the spring, because I just have a feeling if I wait until the spring, he's going to be busy, I'm going to be busy, and quite frankly, I just don't want it to delay. I don't want it to delay me being able to really start my garden for next year. And not to mention, I need to start killing the grass in the front yard. So anyway, I got a call from, or a text message from the irrigation guy at the end of last week saying, hey, by the way, actually, you know what? It was today. What am I talking about? He's like, hey, I can come on Thursday. Is that okay? And of course, that's totally fine. So it's going to take a day job. It's going to be a day long. I think depending upon what he has to do. If he can use the existing irrigation pipes to do what he needs to do, then it'll go more quickly. If he can't and he has to run new pipes, then that's going to take a little bit longer, and of course it's more expensive. I think the max it'll be is like $1,089 and change. I'll get you guys the exact figure. If he can use the existing pipes that are in good condition and he can just add spigots, then I think it's going to be like $575. So in case you guys are thinking about doing that, that's how much. That's what I'm paying. I'm having 7 spigots added. Obviously, if you have fewer spigots, it'll be less. If you have more spigots, it'll be more. But just to give you guys a general idea on how much something like this costs, because quite frankly, I didn't know. The only cost I was kind of more familiar with was just having an actual irrigation with sprinkler heads installed, which is what I don't want to do. So since the guy's coming out, I didn't think it was going to be this soon. I thought it was going to be another week or two. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go out, I'm going to mark exactly where I want him to put the actual faucets, because I do have a diagram of the plan, which I'm going to show you guys in a second. And I just want to mark so that way I can look at it and say, okay, you know, I kind of like this, I don't like this. I'm also going to mark on the plan that I have kind of like the distances, so I can go out there with my measuring stick plus the spray gun, so that way it can be exact. And then I'll look at it and say, okay, do I like this? Do I not like this? Do I want to change where I actually have things? Because sometimes that does happen. Once he installs everything, there's a couple, it's good for a number of different reasons. Because number one, I can put in my front hedge. I have 13, yeah, I think it's 13, and I'm getting the 14th from the members sale at the PHS, which I'll talk to you guys about in a different video. But I will have 14 limelight hydrangeas as a front hedge. That'll be the back layer. I'm going to have shorter stuff in front of it because I want a nice thick hedge between the street and my house. So then number one, like I said, if somebody ever loses control of their car, because that is going around a curve, there will be something to stop them from, you know, hopefully getting too far into my front yard. And number two, just privacy, because quite frankly, if I wanted to just like go out in my front lawn and like sit and read a book, like literally everybody would be watching me. It's kind of like, I'm kind of leery of doing that. But this way I'll actually have some privacy in my front yard. And so I'm going to spray those. So once I have water out there, I can go ahead and plant those, and then I can run drip tubing, because that way at least I know it will actually be getting water. That was the reason that I held off on planting them, because you know, with seeing how I'm doing the entire front of my property, I think when I took measurements, it was like 180 feet. The hose isn't going to stretch that far. Quite frankly, with the drip tubing I have set up, that was going to be too long because, you know, and so I would have basically had to like fill up buckets of water and take it to certain places, which is obviously what I don't want to do. And so I'll be able to plant that. And the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get the black sheeting from Lowe's. They have different widths. Sometimes it's 10 feet. Sometimes you can get the 20, I think it's 20 feet. And so I'm just going to start pitting it down on top of the grass to actually kill it. And so the temperature had started getting cool, but now it's kind of going back up. And so with the additional heat, it usually takes a couple of weeks like that to actually kill the grass, and especially because there's not going to be any water or anything going through. And the plastic does get pretty hot, so that should also help. And I'm hoping that by the time I get around to planting, which is March, so if we're in end of August, they'll have, so September, October, November, December, January, February, March, it'll be 7 months. By the time I get back to it, not only should be dead, I think the grass should have decayed, you know, enough that it's almost like being composted back into the soil. So let me show you what the plan is again, and show you how I'm marking so I know exactly what I'm going to do outside. Okay guys, so I'm back. So I drafted everything out, and I put the measurements of where everything has to go. And so this line right here, there's a brick walkway in front of my house. So that's what's like basically down of here. Okay, so that's the point that I'm going to be using for reference points. So I tried to put the faucets in the middle of the squares because each square is 4x4, so then I know it's like two over, two down, or two up, or whatever. And so for this corner right here, it's going to be 2 feet. It's going to be in the center of the square, so 2x2. And then when you get up to this top corner here, actually it's not 33, it's 34, because this distance from the brick to the brick right here to this point is 36. So 2 feet in from that is 34. And so that's how I'm essentially measuring. So all the ones at the top will be 34 from this line down here, which is the brick walkway. And then of course this last corner will be basically 2 in from the edge and 2 up from the bottom. Okay, so then there are some faucets in the center. So there's one right here and there's one right there. So I kind of put the distance between where the walkway starts over here, but from measuring from the brick walkway, because I want that to be my point of reference, it's 12 feet to the first one. Down 1, 2, yeah. 12 feet to the first one, and then between this one and the next one is 12 feet. So I think that'll be good. So basically when it comes time to how I'm arranging all the water, obviously this one right here is going to be, like I said, watering the entire front. Now I could certainly put a splitter on it if I need additional lines, but I think one should be sufficient. The nice thing about it is with each hose, like if I need to put splitters on things, separate things out, I mean, right now I have the hose on the side has like 4 on there. So if I have 7 times 4, I could really create 28 zones if I actually need it. I may not actually do that. I may not need it, but it's nice to know that I can do that if I need to. So now that I've got everything marked, I'm going to go out with my measuring wheel. I'm also going to take I have a spray paint marker, and I may use some landscape stakes. I'm going to kind of mark everything out so that when the guy comes out, I could tell him, hey, here's exactly where you're putting everything, so he's not trying to guess. And I think that'll make the process. So hopefully you can hear me okay. I'm trying to use my headset from my iPhone. So I was using the white rope to kind of make sure that everything was like centered around my doorstep. So yeah, I have my pots holding it down. It's not very technical, but I did spray some white lines. So this is the beginning of the path in front of the door, and this is the other one on the other side. So I measured 60 feet from the edge of that flower bed down to here. And then I measured 36 feet up that way. And so I already spray painted those marks for handy dandy reference points. Okay, so there's the other one over there. So right here, this particular stake is 24 feet from the brick walkway. This is going to be the second faucet inside that kind of like diamond shaped space. And this is the first one, which I told you inside was going to be 12 feet. And so I'm using this little marker spray paint gun. And so what I'm going to do is over this spot, I'm just going to make an X. So let me pull the stake out. Okay, ooh. Okay, so basically this thing has a little trigger right there. And you just pull it as you're walking. Okay, and so there we go. So X marks the spot, which according to Indiana Jones, X never marks the spot, but okay, so I'm going to do it here. Okay, so good, so that's one. Okay, so the next one is going to be a little bit more complicated because I have to finagle this measuring wheel plus the little spray paint marker. So the other 4 are going to be, like I said, in the middle of the 4-foot section. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure 2 feet up from here and then 2 feet, mark 2 feet in. So let's see. Okay, that's 2 feet exactly. So I'm going to pick this up like so and go 2 feet in. Oops, hang on. Let me do this all over again. I forgot to zero it out. Okay, so 2 feet this way. Okay, and then turn it this way like so. I'm going to zero it out. And we have 2 feet in right here. So let me put the little, I'll do this one-handed here. So I'm going to put a little stake in right there for right now. And let me go measure out on the next corner.